Welcome back to Doc Talks Detox. I'm Dr. Caitlin, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the groin, otherwise called inguinal lymph nodes. Now, this is part of a 7-part series, and this is part 6. So if you haven't seen the other 5 videos, you gotta go watch them. The reason being is I'm teaching these in a segmented step-by-step, ultimately, order to make it easy for you to learn and implement. The reason I'm doing it this way is I found over the past decade when I'm teaching really anything, not just lymphatic drainage, if I give too many steps at once, we forget a step, then we're not confident with what we're doing, and then we don't do it. And if we don't do it, we don't benefit from it. And I know that pretty much everybody can benefit from lymphatic drainage. Obviously, there's some exceptions. But with that being said, in today's video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk specifically about the groin. And just like in the other videos, we're gonna break it down and show you exactly how to locate them, how to open them up, how often, how much, all of it. But you gotta stay to the end to learn it. And again, this is a segmented step-by-step. So go watch the other ones, and you can always rewatch them too, especially if you're like, wait a minute, how do I do this? And what's going on with that? And I totally forgot this step, or what's the hand placement, or any of those. Those videos will always be there. All right, so when it comes to the groin is actually an important one. It has a lot of fluid coming into it, and the fluid is coming from a couple different places. One, it's going to first and foremost drain each leg. So our whole leg, that means our quads, our knees, our hamstrings, our calf, our ankles, our feet, our toes are all gonna drain into our groin lymph nodes. So if you have any type of fluid retention, so swelling, any type of muscle or joint pain, especially in the morning, you're really going to want to make sure that you open up the groin lymph nodes. Now, the other thing that drains into the groin is our abdomen, specifically from our belly button down. So if you're somebody that has fluid retention in your lower abdomen, or fluid retention like fluctuates, especially around cycles and things like that, you're definitely going to want to open up and support your groin lymph nodes. Now, you might be asking, well, why would the groin become or be so problematic? Like, I don't get it. I actually see it be problematic fairly often, and I believe one of the biggest reasons why is because we sit. When we're sitting, I want you to take a look. Just look down. If you're sitting, look down at your lap. What's happening is you're compressing those lymph nodes. What's happening is when we sit, our body goes to a 90-degree angle, right? Like, it's ultimately like this. Kind of like a chair, right? Our back, our quads, and then our legs and feet. When we're sitting, the groin lymph nodes right in here are being compressed, they're being squished, which means fluid can't flow. It doesn't flow very well. So if we're sitting for really long extended periods of time, it's going to be really important that we get up and move, and that we massage those lymph nodes to get things, and especially lymphatic fluid, flowing again. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I can be prone to sit. Even though I have a standing desk and I use it all the time, I still sit. And I know you guys do too. Whether it's in the car commuting, whether it's at work, whether it's on video conference calls, sitting to eat food, sitting to watch TV, we sit. So I'm going to encourage you to take a peek and see how much are you sitting, and then go, maybe I do need to love on those groin lymph nodes just a smidge to make sure that the lower half of my body and my abdomen is draining properly. All right, so how do we find these lymph nodes? I'm glad you guys asked, and I'm going to happily show you. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our hands just like this, and we're going to go in above our hips. So you're going to go in at your waist and then come down, slide down till you hit your hips, okay? Your iliac crest, if we want to be specific. What you're going to do is when you come in, you're going to roll your fingers over, and this is going to be where we start, okay? Now, how we're going to use our hands in order to drain the lymph nodes, we're going to ultimately use the pads of our fingers, and we're going to just be massaging like this. Now, I like to have my hands this way, and I massage, and my fingers go up. Now, I always move fluid in the direction that the fluid should be moving. So in this instance, because the fluid in our groin should be moving up, right? Because our termini is up here, I want to pull the fluid up. This is what I found works best for me and has worked best for majority of my clients as well. So with that being said, you'll see me going like this as we move down. Now the other thing before I show you exactly what to do, the groin is gonna go from our hip all the way down to our pubic bone. So if you were to take your leg and rotate it in or out, in or out, it also makes it easier to find where those groin lymph nodes are. So I'm gonna show you with one leg up as I'm doing it, and then the other leg straight, just so you can see how it can be done. Now, this can be done in a seated position, not ideal, standing, laying down. And if you are sitting, I'm gonna recommend that you almost like recline and kind of like pull yourself at more of an angle to stretch out that groin instead of having it compressed, okay? So let's do this. Hands coming in at our waist, come down to it meets our hips. Wrap my fingers down so the pads of my fingers are pointing down, and then I'm just going to start massaging the lymph nodes, going straight down till I hit the pubic bone. And as I'm doing it, I'm pulling up. And I'm gonna do this a few times. So normally I say we gotta do, 10 to 50 pumps per area. Because this is a larger area, I usually do 5 to 10 passes as I'm doing it. And as I'm doing it, you can see I'm not doing this and then jumping down and then jumping down. It's a bunch of little passes as we move down, pulling up, okay? Now, when it comes to the groin can be a little bit more tender in this area. You may actually feel swollen, hard lymph nodes because these lymph nodes are a little bit more superficial, just like in the neck, just like in the armpit. We can feel those lymph nodes and in the breast tissue. So don't be alarmed. If there is something that you feel in there that you're not sure of, always go get it checked out. Majority of the time, it's nothing. They'll tell you, oh, it's just a hard swollen lymph node. Don't worry about it. When you get that diagnosis, don't worry about it. All you gotta do, come back, follow me, and we'll work through massaging all of that out. Now, again, when you're starting this off, I do recommend doing this every single day. The specific 7 lymph nodes, when you understand and know what to do, shouldn't take more than a couple minutes. Like at very most 5 minutes, and that's if you're doing like 50 passes at every location. So this should be quick. And the benefits are, I don't want to use the word unbelievable, but for most people it is unbelievable. I hear amazing results all the time. So get to draining, get to pumping, start with the termini, move on down to the groin, and then once you get this down, come on back because I have one more. And this last one is one of the ones that I get the most questions about on Instagram about help, how do I drain? How do I drain? Oh my gosh, I have this problem here. And guess what? We're going to address that in the very next video. Happy draining and thanks for being here.